Let's be honest, the Alan Martin storyline had all the ingredients for a classic jaw-dropping soap opera arc, but what we got felt more like a half-baked twist than a satisfying saga. The premise itself was wild. Alan Laurent, the upstanding, almost too perfect guy, is actually Martin, his supposedly dead twin brother. The reveal that Martin survived a dramatic fall in Paris and assumed Alan's identity could have been the stuff of daytime legend. But instead of laying a trail of subtle clues or building up tension over time, the writers just dropped the twist on us out of nowhere. There was no slow burn suspense, no aha moment for the audience, just a big, clunky bombshell that left viewers, in my arrogant opinion, more annoyed, cursing at the TV having sat through Phyllis and Sharon, than it left us thrilled. Do you want to talk about it? We'll grab a snack and...
Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to In My Arrogant Opinion. This is a video playlist from West Harris where our ideas, thoughts, reviews, and unsolicited opinions about daytime soaps and other shows are shared. Of course, this is all for entertainment purposes. We've been watching daytime and primetime soaps since the 1900s, so you can trust us. Hey folks, so let's get into this. What really stings about the whole Alan Martin thing is how the storyline fizzled out after such a dramatic setup. Once Martin's true identity was exposed, the fallout was shockingly tame. Traci puts two and two together, the police slap on the cuffs, Nick and Billy rescue Phyllis and Sharon, and that's it. No epic confrontation, no desperate escape, no emotional reckoning for the people he deceived, mainly our beloved Traci Abbott. Nope, none of that. Just weeks of lackluster writing and us being trapped watching Phyllis and Sharon having to play PG-13 jigsaw-style games. I could not watch those Saw movies. While the psychological aspects were intriguing, the gore was not my thing. Anywho, it was as if the writers realized they'd written themselves into a corner and decided to just sweep everything under the rug. For a plot that leans so heavily into soap tropes, secret twins, stolen identities, presumed deaths, you'd expect a payoff that was equally over the top, right? Right? Or was it just me being silly, thinking innovation was still possible? Nope. Instead, the ending was flat and forgettable, wasting the potential for high-stakes drama and leaving fans feeling cheated. I mean, and isn't that the story of Y&R these days? I love this show, but it leaves much to be desired. I remember someone said in the chat they put Y&R on to go to sleep. Come on, writers. We deserved a story that kept us on the edge of our seats, not one that wrapped up with a whimper. But the biggest missed opportunity, in my arrogant opinion, was how the storyline sidelined Traci Abbott. Traci has always been the emotional anchor of the Abbott family, a character with a rich history and, let's be honest, a devoted fan base. She's been through heartbreak, loss, and betrayal, yet she remains compassionate and resilient. When the Alan Martin plot was introduced, it seemed like a golden opportunity to give Traci a truly meaty arc. Instead, she was relegated to the background, reacting to events rather than driving them. What do you all think? Drop down in the comments and share your thoughts. I think the writers could have used this storyline to explore Traci's vulnerabilities, her longing for love, and her struggle to trust again. Instead, she was treated as little more than a plot device, a way to raise the stakes for Alan Martin, rather than a fully realized character in her own right. And frankly, that ticks me off. Picture it if the writers had taken a risk and put Traci at the center of the drama, instead of the annoying story of Sharon and Phyllis locked in a room together. And here's the thing, we can do two things at once. We can chew gum and walk at the same time. I said it before, I will say it again. The best storylines are messy, multi-layered, and connect a bunch of different characters. This is why I love General Hospital. The only happening with Sonny has ripple effects, affecting his ex-wives, the Quartermains, Laura as mayor, and other characters that he might not necessarily interact with. So imagine this. What if Traci had been the one to uncover Martin's secret that he's not Alan? She rationalizes that despite the lie, she actually fell in love with him, Martin. Not only that, but she chooses to keep that hidden, and his social experiment on Phyllis and Sharon hidden. I don't watch Days of Our Lives anymore, but I remember back in the day watching it, and one of the many times Stefano kidnapped Marlena, who he was obsessed with, and held her hostage right there in a secret room in his home. On one of these occasions, his daughter, Kristen, then played by Elaine Davidson, discovers Marlena and her father's plan. And guess what? Kristen keeps it a secret so that she can maintain her current relationship with John Black. John and Marlena were destined to be together. They were true soulmates, not like this foolishness that Eric and Brooke think about her and Ridge's relationship on The Bold and the Beautiful. Y'all are not destined to be together. Give me a break and a new storyline while you're at it. Anywho, Traci's torn between her love for Martin and her loyalty to her friends. Now, hear me out. This would have been a radical departure for Traci, right? She's the moral compass of the show, right? And in my arrogant opinion, that's exactly what would have made it so compelling. Watching her wrestle with guilt, fear, love, and heartbreak would have given Beth Malin the chance to deliver the kind of powerhouse performance that wins awards. The internal conflict, protecting the man she loves versus doing the right thing, could have driven months of gripping, character-driven drama. Imagine Traci stumbles across evidence that Alan is really Martin. At first, she's in denial, desperate to believe the man she loves couldn't possibly be a criminal. But as the evidence mounts, she's forced to confront the truth. Instead of immediately going to the police, she agonizes over what to do about him pretending to be his brother and him holding 2 women hostage. The guilt eats away at her, straining her relationships with her family and friends. Every scene is charged with tension. Will she confess, or will she let her love for Martin continue to cloud her judgment? This is the kind of slow burn psychological drama the writers think they are doing, but are consistently failing miserably at. Give Traci a storyline worthy of her character. But then, just when it seems like Traci might crack under the pressure, everything comes to a head on her wedding day. Martin is all smiles, convinced he's pulled off the ultimate con, while Traci is eerily calm, her emotions simmering beneath the surface. In a dramatic confrontation, she demands that he release Sharon and Phyllis, refusing to marry him unless he comes clean. When he tries to gaslight her, she finally snaps, revealing that she's known his secrets for months. The fallout is explosive. Martin panics and flees, leaving Traci humiliated and heartbroken at the altar. The emotional aftermath would be devastating, not just for Traci, but for everyone involved. The Abbott family rallies around her, but she's haunted by the choices she made and the secrets she kept, because no one knows the real reason she's been stood up. But the story doesn't end there. Unable to face her family, Traci quietly leaves the Abbott mansion and ends up at the Newman Ranch. She tells Victor she's there to collect on a debt, reminding him that her daughter Colleen's heart once saved his life. It's a raw, vulnerable moment that taps into the deep history between these characters. Victor, ever the protector, promises to do whatever it takes to help her. He calls in Michael Baldwin to clean up the mess, ensuring Sharon and Phyllis are found. And y'all, Martin has disappeared without a trace, which means he can return years later for more drama. Now Michael is burdened with a secret that could destroy his marriage and friendships. He is close friends with Phyllis. The only person he can confide in is Traci, and as they share this heavy burden, a new bond forms between them. One night, in a moment of vulnerability, Traci and Michael share a kiss, an impulsive act that adds yet another layer of complexity to the story. Suddenly, there's a forbidden romance brewing, secrets piling up, and the threat of everything unraveling at any moment. The stakes are higher than ever, and every character is forced to confront their own moral boundaries. And let's not forget Traci and Lauren's rich history and rivalry. Traci, once the show's moral center, is now caught in a web of lies and deception. Michael, torn between loyalty to his wife and his growing feelings for Traci, is pushed to his breaking point. The emotional fallout ripples through Genoa City, affecting everyone from the Abbotts to the Newmans to the Baldwins. In my arrogant opinion, this is the kind of storytelling that makes soap operas so addictive. The tangled relationships, the impossible choices, the moments of heartbreak and redemption. By putting Traci at the center of the action, the writers could have given her the complex, layered arc she deserves, instead of a flat, implausible twist with a forgettable ending. We want secrets, betrayals, and emotional reckonings. Beth Maitland would have had the chance to showcase her incredible range, bringing depth and nuance to every scene. The fans who have followed Traci's journey for decades would have been treated to a storyline that honored her legacy and pushed her character in bold new directions. So what's the moral of this story? The Alan Martin storyline was a missed opportunity not just for Traci Abbott, but for the entire show. With a little more risk-taking and a willingness to give the characters real depth, it could have been a game changer. Instead, it was a forgettable detour that left me rolling my eyes and hella annoyed. Traci deserved more, and we deserved better. Because if there's one thing soap fans know, it's that the best stories are the ones that make us feel, that challenge our expectations, and that remind us why we fell in love with these characters in the first place.